to thank everybody for being here this evening. We have a lot of important people here, and the reason for this meeting is to try to turn some first-time buyers or people that are renting properties into homeowners. And we have a great group of people here that's going to speak this evening. We also have a couple local banks here that are going to introduce themselves. So why don't we we'll get everybody to introduce themselves. So I'll start with Albert.
My name is al.colacello. I'm with I'm a senior mortgage consultant with Prosperity Home Mortgage.
I'm Roger Collins. I'm the Director of Housing and Community Development for Bucks County.
And I'm Debbie Robison. I also work at the county's Housing and Community Development Office.
Ryan Skachillis, I'm the Policy Director for Senator Tommy Tomlinson.
Nancy Twyman. I'm with the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency.
And I'm Phil.cacossa, President of Socrates Developers.
Okay, again, I want to thank everybody for taking their time this evening to be here, and there's a lot of people at home also in the audience that hopefully we can help out this evening and start turning some renters into property owners. So, Betty, I'll start with you as the Council Vice President.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. I think this is a great roundtable for us to speak on behalf of the renters of Bristol, Pennsylvania. We do have a lot of people in town that do rent and don't know what programs are out there. It's really important for me to let them know that there are programs for first-time buyers, and there are programs for people that have rented for 5+, 10+ years that maybe they can, work into their housing so that they can be homeowners. This happens a lot, especially, in town where people are renting for a long time, hoping to buy, but don't know how to go about it. So we really appreciate everyone being here tonight, and on behalf of the entire Borough Council and Mayor, we'd like to thank you for coming and helping us.
Joe, would you like to say anything before we get started?
I echo what Betty is saying. I know routinely I get calls asking, what would be the process to go from being a renter to a homeowner. So I'm here tonight to get as much information that I can so that I can pass it on to people, constituents that call and ask about those things. And I appreciate everybody being here.
Why, thank you, Bill.
Okay, so I'm going to let Albert go last because I think the lending tool is probably the hardest part, and a lot of people think because they have bad credit scores and they had some previous debt that they're never going to be able to own a home, which isn't true today. I mean, there's a lot of people that, even though you have very low credit scores, it's very possible that you could be owning a home today, and not only that, you probably could be paying sometimes less than you're paying to rent a property. So I don't know which side we want to start on. We're going to start with the county first, maybe. Would that be the way to go?
You're fine.
Okay.
Thank you. We're very honored to be here this evening. We very much subscribe to supporting your goal here in Bristol for more homeowners. We have various programs, and this evening I brought Debbie Robison with me. She's been managing our program for 14 years, first-time home buyers, and has literally helped hundreds of people become first-time home buyers. It's a very, very exciting prospect to help people become homeowners and enrich their life by owning a home. So I've asked Debbie to go over some of the high points, and we're certainly available for questions here and for later, and we have a handout. So, Debbie?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Debbie. Like Roger said, I've been working with the first-time homebuyer program with the county. The county does have a first-time homebuyer program that is funded through the Housing Trust Fund. The Housing Trust Fund gets their funding from the Recorder of Deeds office, just to give you a little background of where the funds come from. So every time there's a mortgage or a deed recorded, we get so much of that fee, and it's put into the Housing Trust Fund, used for affordable housing or to make housing affordable in the county. So the commissioners have started this first-time homebuyer program back in 1994. So far, we've helped over 645 homebuyers in the county. Our program can provide up to $10,000. It is a loan. It's a no-interest deferred loan, which means whatever amount that you're approved for, and I'll go through the process a little bit with you, but whatever amount you're approved for, the county does prepare a mortgage document, and it's signed at settlement. The county also provides a check at the settlement for the amount that you're going to be, loaned out, or how much you're borrowing. So the mortgage is recorded, and then you never have to make any payments or interest until you sell the property. If you move from the property and maybe turn it into a rental, you're not using it as your primary residence anymore, then it is repayable in full. If you were to take an equity loan out and increase your first mortgage, then the amount is repayable. Or if you transfer the title or sell the property. And then that is usually taken out of the proceeds of the sale of the house. And it's paid back to the county, and then we are again able to help other home buyers. So it's kind of like a revolving kind of fund that we have. I'll just go over some of the requirements of the program. It is for moderate income families. Just to give you an idea of what the income limit is for a 4-person family would be $80,300, which that's well within the limits of most families. So that's a combined income. We would look at everyone in the household and combine their income and make sure it's not over the limit. There is housing counseling involved. There's no cost for that. We call it pre-counseling, so it's a great tool for home buyers to know what they are actually getting into when they're purchasing a home. They talk about things like owning a lawnmower, saving for roof repair, just basic things that you might not think about if you're buying your first home. Unfortunately, you can't have owned a home in the last 3 years, so that would be something that, we're looking for people that have not owned a home yet. One of the things is you need to have 3% down of your purchase price. And we do consider, there are some loans out there. First Front Door comes to mind. It's a program that I think that's up to $5,000. That can be used towards your down payment. So, that is attainable, so you don't necessarily have to have a big chunk of money. At the end of the purchase, you need to have at least 1 month of your principal, interest, tax, and insurance, known as PITI, just as liquid assets, and that's really your protection so that if something happens right away, that you have some money in your bank account that you're going to be able to make that repair. Our goal is to not over-subsidize, but we also want you to be able to maintain the home and keep up, the property in good condition and not get, fall behind in your mortgage payments. Our loan-to-value ratios, we look at the first mortgage and then the amount of our mortgage, and then we look at the appraisal. So the loan-to-value ratio needs to be at 100%. So if your mortgage is $100,000 and we give you $10,000, then the property needs to appraise at 110 at least. So that's kind of just the basics. I hope that wasn't too long or short.
Good. The only question I just want to clear up a couple things is,
Sure.
It's 3% down.
3%.
So if they bought a house for $100,000, they need $3,000.
Correct.
If it's a $150,000 home, you need $4,500. Just to give them some idea what 3%
Yes.
is, plus your closing. And you're saying $80,000 is the top of the scale, so people that can make a lot less
Yes.
and still qualify. You just can't exceed the $80,000 to qualify for this program.
That's
I
correct.
just don't want somebody to say, well, 80,000, we don't make nowhere near that, but that doesn't matter.
No,
Can't exceed the $80,000, so.
Right.
that's a good explanation, and also the counseling gets at all the finances, and we really are trying to build a ramp to make it happen. So even the 3,000, we have some sources of some loans or grants that you wouldn't have to pay back, and that's all done through the counseling. So we structure something that you can handle and that you can do well, and there's various sources, and that's all part of that counseling.
That's great.
Thank you. Ryan, do you want to
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, I'd like to apologize on behalf of my boss, Senator Tommy Tomlinson. He's not able to make it here tonight. He had a few things on the calendar, but in order to show how important this is to the senator, I wanted to come here on his behalf tonight. And just real quick, keep it brief, something I learned in government: when you're with a room full of experts, you let them talk and you don't really say very much. When Council President Ralph DiGiuseppie, Council Vice President Betty Rodriguez, and Mayor Saxton approached us about the potential for this program and for this roundtable discussion, we jumped at the opportunity to help out. Homeownership is a valuable aspect of any successful borough, and we want to make sure we keep up all the great progress that Bristol Borough is making and moving forward, and we're happy to help out. Anything anyone needs, they can feel free to give our office a call or go on our website, roberttomlinson.com, and we'd be happy to help out. Thank you so much, Council President.
Right, thank you. Okay.
Hi. Thank you very much for inviting us to be here. We appreciate the time to share information about the home ownership programs that may be of benefit to you. The Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency was created by the legislature in 1972. We're a not-for-profit agency, and the agency works to provide affordable housing to older adults, families with low to moderate income, and persons that have special housing needs. We offer a variety of mortgage products. We have 2 mortgage loans that were specifically created for housing finance agencies. One of those mortgage loans does not require that you pay private mortgage insurance or that you purchase private mortgage insurance. Traditional and conventional mortgages require that if you put down less than 20% on your home, then you would have to purchase private mortgage insurance. Private mortgage insurance protects the lender in the event that you, the buyer, default on your loan. It does not protect the buyer, it only protects the lender. And usually it goes for about 1% of the cost of the house. So if the cost of the house, say, is $100,000, just to give you an example, then you would have to purchase private mortgage insurance that will cost you about $1,000 a year, which is like an additional $83 per month on top of your mortgage payment that you would pay to the lender each month. So this particular mortgage would save you a lot of money on your mortgage, money that could go into your pocket rather than paying it to the lender. In addition, we have another loan that was specifically created for housing finance agencies. That one, you do have to purchase private mortgage insurance if you pay less than 20% down, but it's at a monthly premium that you and your lender work out together, something that you agree upon that's affordable to you. The other thing we have are interest-free loans for closing costs and down payment assistance. That's paid over a 10-year period. It's at 0% interest, and it's for 4% of the cost of the home, not to exceed $6,000. The good thing is that in this township, Bristol Township, we have a closing costs, a loan for closing costs and down payment assistance that's forgivable after 5 years. So it starts out as a loan, but it turns into a grant after if you stay in your home for at least 5 years, and it's for up to $10,000. So that's free money. You do not have to pay it back if you stay in your home for at least 5 years. In addition to that, the agency has set aside a pool of funds that they use as a mortgage credit, a tax credit that you get on your federal income taxes each year for up to $2,000, and it's based on the mortgage interest that you pay. So that could save you thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. Purchase of a home is usually the biggest investment that any of us would make. So we do require that you attend our home counseling, housing counseling sessions. We partner with a network of housing counseling agencies throughout the entire state, and they provide free housing counseling to you. And that is we have a list, so any part of the state, you could find an agency that we've approved that we work with that would provide you with free housing counseling. You can attend online or in person, but if your credit score is below 680, then you do have to attend in person. If it's 620 but below 680, you have to attend in person. Then we have a foreclosure prevention program. Our foreclosure prevention program, our foreclosure prevention program is designed to protect Pennsylvanians against the foreclosure on their home in the event that they are no longer able to make the payments through no fault of their own. So that would mean like layoffs or maybe an illness, disability, something like that, that would have caused a homeowner to lose their income and not be able to pay. The agency will pay your mortgage to bring it current, and the loan is paid back when the homeowner is in a financial position to do so. And the payments are worked out to make them affordable to you. Those payments, I've seen them as low as $25 a month. So they are affordable. In addition, we have access modification funds. This is additional down payment and closing cost assistance, which is available to persons with disabilities. Now, we also have some homeowner programs, loan programs. Are there any homeowners here? No one? One, two? Okay, I'll go over these real quick. We have a homeowner's energy efficiency loan program. This is a loan for any energy efficiency repairs you want to make to your home, installing new windows, new doors, a new heating or air conditioning system, anything to make your home more energy efficient. It's at 1%. It's a 1% loan, interest for up to 10 years. It's payable over 10 years for up to $10,000. So again, it's only 1% interest on that loan, and it's for any energy efficiency repair you need to make to your home. We also have a renovate and repair loan program. This is for general repairs to your home. This loan, the interest rate varies, but it's usually lower than what you can get from a home equity loan. So the interest rates are very competitive there as well. And then we also have a loan for septic systems. So if you have a septic system that needs replacement or repair, or if you're going to do a first-time attachment to or connection to a public sewer system, you can get a loan to do that as well. And then lastly, the agency also helps to fund the construction of affordable rental housing for seniors, families, and individuals. So if you're searching for affordable housing options, PAHousingSearch.com is the website. It's a free apartment search tool that helps to make your search quick and easy. In this senatorial district, the 6th district, we have 950 units, 9 properties that the agency funded with a total of 950 units. In Bristol Township, in particular, there are 4 properties with 223 units. So if you know someone that's looking for affordable rental housing, that's another option as well. And if you're interested in any of the programs I mentioned, I do have some literature here that you can take home with you, and we also have a website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Again, my name is Phil.cacossa. I'm the president of Socrates Developers. I'm going to come at this from a little different angle. You've heard about some of the financing programs that are available. I'm going to actually talk to you about the home itself. First-time home buyer, chances are the house that you're going to be looking for is not going to be in the best shape and not the most pristine thing that you've ever seen. I remember the first house that I bought, what we could afford to move into was something that needed a lot of help. I've been fortunate my whole life, my whole career has been dealing with repairing facilities. I'm a facilities engineer. My father taught me how to fix anything that could possibly go wrong in a house. So about a year and a half ago, I started Socrates Developers. And basically the idea of Socrates Developers is to find blighted homes, find homes that are either vacant, abandoned, run down, something that couldn't currently be lived in, and renovate that home and get it ready for sale to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford that kind of a home. The example I can give you here in the borough is we bought 201 Newbrook Street, which was abandoned for 4 years. We gutted it down to the studs. There was nothing left of it. Every bit of plaster was taken out of it. When we moved into, or when we took ownership of the house, there was no electrical in the house. There was no water piping in the house. There was no heating system in the house. So we took a house that could not be lived in. No one could move into this house. We gutted it down to the subfloor and the studs. We came back in with energy efficient, we did spray foam insulation on the walls, all new windows, all new doors, a new electrical system, new heating system, central air, the whole thing, and we got it ready for sale. And the house is for sale. We're working with a potential home buyer right now, but I can tell you that this house, it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, and we're selling it for, her monthly payment will be less than what she's paying in her rent. So it can be done. Just so you know, it's possible. You can actually get a home and get it into the shape that it needs to be in, and that is right around what the rental rates are right now. The nice thing about it is that when you buy your first home, I remember when I bought my first home, you just wait for things to start to break, right? You wait for the water heater to go, you wait for something to leak. You don't have these worries if you're purchasing a home that we work on. Everything is new. We put everything in new. So you kind of get a running start. You get a 4 or 5 year running start where you don't have to worry about anything, which is really critical when you first move in, because you have that monthly payment shock of, am I going to be able to make these payments? And the last thing you want is a $3,000 or $4,000 bill to hit you, when you're just starting to make your monthly mortgage payments. So one of the things that we've been trying to do is we've been trying to find properties that we can renovate and turn around and sell, and make sure that payment that you'll be making, that's your mortgage and your taxes, because that's something, taxes are something as a renter you don't pay. So we want to make sure that those things together are less than or at the same rate of what you'd pay for an equal sized dwelling in rent. So that's our goal. And the other goal that we have is that we're trying to revitalize neighborhoods, right? If we can take houses that have been abandoned, left to rot, and bring them back up, it brings the entire neighborhood up, right? Everybody, you should see the people on the little dead-end Newbrook Street there. How interested they are in what we're doing, and how many people are, we're so glad that you're here doing this. Our whole goal is to do that in an entire neighborhood. Take a strip of 5 or 6 or 7 row homes that need to be renovated, and do them all, and make them available to people, and start that community over again. So that's really our goal. That's what we hope to do, and hope to do a lot more of it in Bristol. So be more than happy to talk to you more about it. We encourage you to go on to SocratesDevelopers.com. You can see some of the before and after shots that we did over at 201, and you know, would love to be able to get more of that inventory ready for first-time home buyers.
Thank you.
Albert?
My name is al.colacello from Prosperity Home Mortgage, and I want to thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here. I have to say, one of the greatest satisfactions of my job is to take someone who is a renter or a first-time buyer who doesn't think they can purchase a home and hand them the keys at settlement, or watch the real estate professional hand them the keys at settlement. It's a feeling it really makes it all worth it. So I'm going to attack this from a little bit of a different angle, more about the process of what we go through with the individuals, because thanks to all the speakers that came before me, we utilize all of their programs, but they did all the heavy lifting and went through all the technical aspects of their programs. So basically, we have an underwriting and processing center right here in Bristol on Mill Street. So the process that I take a client through is I meet with the client. It can either be done in person, it can be done on the phone, they can fill out an online application. And what we do is we take all of their personal information, their financial information, their job history, their assets, run their credit, and put their file together and see what program they fit in best. As Nancy said, we utilize PHFA quite a bit. If their income is under $100,000, there's a lot of programs at PHFA that they can use. If the client or the customer ends up falling a little bit short, whether short in assets, short in credit, we have a program called Lending Hand. And what that program does is it will help them fix their credit, bring their credit score up, or I can put them on track to save money, you know, for the down payment, or bring a co-signer on if they're short in income. But the process basically starts with me and the customer getting them ready. Once they are qualified, we have many moderate to low to moderate income programs that utilize everything that you've heard that came before me. We're one of the largest PHFA lenders in the state. I think we're in like the top 10. And you can't go to PHFA directly. You have to use a lender to go to PHFA. So what we do is we underwrite, fund, and close the loan. I'll put you in the proper program, and then we sell it or transfer it over to PHFA. How we use the county programs is if the client has good income and good credit, but they're short on down payment, and the down payment, a grant program that they use fits the best, we can use it that way. Also, if the client is best for just regular FHA or regular conventional, we can do it that way as well. So we really take the customer right from the pre-approval stage, fix anything that they need fixed, and get them ready for home ownership, and then utilize all the programs that you kind of heard before me, that came before me. Now, one of the things that a lot of people think, I'm just going to kind of summarize one program. The Pennsylvania Housing and Finance Authority has a program called the Keystone Home Loan. If we do that as an FHA loan with the down payment assistance that Nancy spoke about, or a grant from the county, and the real estate professional can negotiate and assist, or closing costs be paid by the seller, which in this market, it most times can be done, the first-time buyer can literally get into a home for as little as $1,500. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy, and it sounds like one of those things that happened, in 2008, but it really isn't. Because if you take a home approximately $160,000 with taxes of about $3,000, the seller will pay the full amount of seller assist or seller credit they're allowed. We utilize the $6,000 down payment assistance program, and they can literally get into the home for $1,500. Whereas most people think that I need thousands and thousands of dollars, but that's not the case. So I do have a lot of literature here, and I have business cards, and we have a website, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions of how we work with all the agencies that you heard before us.
And Albert, how about the money to fix these houses?
Okay, that's a good point. We also have a renovation program. So what we can do is we have a 203K or a conventional renovation program, where the way that works is we give you amount of money to purchase the home, and it's based on the appraised value after it's fixed. and you get like, for example, you purchase the home for $100,000, it needs $30,000 worth of work, and it'll be worth $170,000 when it's finished. We lend you the $100,000 to purchase the property, then $30,000 to pay the contractors to fix it, and then it gets all wrapped up into a 30-year mortgage in the end. It's called the 203K renovation program, and there's also a conventional version of that. I believe PHFA has that as well.
That's great. Sure.
I just wanted to, everybody who owns a home was a first-time home buyer. Me too. I certainly remember the first time I went and listened to a bunch of information, much as like we've shared with you here today. And at the end, they asked me, they said, "Did you understand everything we said?" I said, "No." They said, "Well, what did you understand?" I said, I'm not sure I understood anything." Well, if you feel a little bit like that with all this information, we want you to realize your dream. That's why we're here. And we're in the business of helping you realize your dream. And the way to get started is call one of us. Debbie has a handout here. Call us and we'll talk and we'll help you understand more, because the dream is important. It makes a stronger society with homeowners, and we want you to thrive, and that's why we're here. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from anybody in the audience? Anybody on this? Hello, you want to?
Thank you.
Is there a microphone on there?
I had a question when you talked about the county program. If it transferred, you had to pay the loan back. What happens if there's death or divorce and it stays basically in one spouse or the other, or does it have to be paid back, or?
Well, the county is always open to the request for an exception to any of our rules, which needs to go under consideration. But in the past, we have had like a divorce situation happen where one of the spouses wanted to stay in the home. So we have sent them, the person that wanted to keep the home, send them back to counseling to make sure that they could afford the home on their own income, because we don't want them to get into any kind of foreclosure process. And in that case, they were able to afford the property on their own, and we did rewrite our county mortgage when they refinanced and moved, the deed over just to their name only. So, we will try to work with anyone as much as possible.
Flexibility in that program. Mm-hmm. Yep. I just wanted to thank the mayor and council president and council vice president for bringing this group here. The councilman, I see it's very important that we build on this home ownership. And I also want to thank Phil. We go back before he started his project here in Bristol, and we met, and I was glad that he came into Bristol, and I can tell you he's done a wonderful job there, and it's been well received on New Brook Street in that area. I also want to thank our two local savings and loans that are here tonight, Penn Community Bank and Fidelity Savings and Loan, who also came, so people will know also that there's other options within the town, as well as our neighbor Prosperity also. But again, thank you.
Anybody else on this side want to speak? This side want to speak? Okay, why don't we introduce Penn Community? If you guys want to go to the podium and just say a few words.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for letting us be here tonight. Penn Community Bank is a local bank here in the borough. We participate in a lot of same programs that everybody spoke about this evening, so I'm not going to elaborate on that again. Mm-hmm. We have a very easy pre-qualification process. We're right on Mill Street, so if there's anything that we can help anybody with, we're certainly here to do that. Lenora is our mortgage specialist.
I've been with the bank for almost 33 years. I've been in lending for the last 7. We have a program called the Home Ready program, where it requires the borrower to come up with the 3%. Now the 3% can also be a gift, or again, seller assist, so basically they can go to the seller table with no cash out of pocket. It's a great program. There is PMI, but with conventional lending, what's different from FHA is we don't collect the premium for the whole year, tack it onto the loan, and then collect the premium thereafter. Our premium, when we go to settlement, it's not a flat fee. We escrow for the 12 months, and it can be dropped at any time once the home reaches, like within 20 to 25%. They can just call their home mortgage private insurance and pay for an appraisal, and if they're in that ream, then they can drop the private mortgage insurance. Unlike FHA, the only way you can drop it is either sell your home or refinance. We do also go through the first front door, whereas they can borrow up to $5,000 to help with the down payment, and that is forgiven after 5 years being in the property. So again, we compare, if you're paying, say, $1,300, $1,400 a month, you could probably buy a property for $130,000, $140,000 and still have the same payment that you're paying for, a rental, but you would own the property. We do a lot with Habitat for Humanity. In fact, I'm doing an application for a house that was renovated back in Morrisville. They're, a family with 6 children. One of them is disabled. So it's very important for that family to get into this house. So we work along with, different organizations to help the buyers get into the home. And just makes you really feel good. And we have more products on the books, that we're able to advance. Being Penn Community Bank, we cover a more wider footprint than we used to in the past. So again, the Home Ready program is definitely a great mortgage product. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Talk from Fidelity Savings.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Joe Slemmer. I'm with Fidelity Savings, your local hometown bank for over 130 years, born, raised, and still prospering here within the community. So thank you. I'd also like to thank the county and especially PHFA for your programs. That foreclosure assistance program is something we utilize quite extensively with some of our customers when they do find themselves in financial difficulty, and it's been of great assistance in allowing people to maintain their homes. Fidelity Savings, just like the folks at Penn Community and at Prosperity, there's nothing like handing those keys to the first-time home buyer. It really gives you satisfaction with your job when you're able to see that happiness, and creates a lifelong relationship, I've found, with those clients. So we also utilize the grants that were described in detail here. One of the small differences is that separates Fidelity from the rest. We hold every loan we originate. We've never sold one loan. We don't intend to sell any loan. So sometimes when you're dealing with people that sell loans, you have to conform to the secondary market underwriting guidelines. But when there's a wrinkle in the deal, we have an iron because we hold those loans, so we don't have to conform to secondary market underwriting guidelines. So it's a small advantage when it comes to those little wrinkles that we can overcome them and ultimately provide that home ownership. So, and as it's been referenced tonight, there's a lot of information going around, so I advise anybody who's interested in purchasing a home to contact some of the folks in the room, including myself at Fidelity. We'll be happy to go over in detail in a one-to-one, face-to-face audience and provide you all the information necessary, and then answer phone calls when you get home the next day, the following day, because there's always a question or two that pops up because it is a wealth of information that's thrown at you all at once, especially when you're a first-time home buyer. So again, I'd like to thank everybody in the room for taking the time, putting this together, and hopefully everyone can participate in making renters homeowners and realize that dream of home ownership. Thank you.
Thank you.
So basically, again, I think it was a very great meeting. I think a lot of people, hopefully at home and in the audience, got a better understanding of how they can own a home. The only good thing, they can replay this a lot, and they could, if they missed something, they could understand it and who you were and what agencies you come from, but, you know, I learned a few things tonight too. You could get into a home for almost nothing. If you don't have the down payment, there's programs out there with the county and all that can help. I think what you explained was very informative to me, where if a husband or wife, you're dependent on them two incomes, and somebody lost their job, or somebody got sick, God forbid, and you can't pay the mortgage, there is a program out there that helps you pay that mortgage until you get back on your feet, and then you can repay it at a very low cost. So up to some people, you said, are $25 a month. I mean, that's, a lot of people lost their homes over that, even on a higher scale. You know, people that are living in some expensive homes, their husband or somebody got sick and they were out in the street because they lost it. So it's a very good program, and I think a lot of people at home really needed to hear that. We heard that you could fix a property with money. We heard that there's properties being fixed. So I think it really, again, was a great benefit to Bristol Borough, and I appreciate everybody for coming. Albert, I know you guys loan a lot of money out, and one of the biggest lenders, I think, in the...
Yeah, our footprint goes all the way from Virginia up through Pennsylvania, down through the Jersey Shore. So I think about $3.5 billion worth of loans we did last year, but we started as a local, we were purchased by Prosperity. We started as First American, so our main processing and underwriting center for this area is right over on Mill Street, and all the same people are here. And I do a lot of business with local real estate professionals like Ralph. Ralph's son, I've done quite a few transactions in Bristol with him, and we've actually even utilized First Fidelity when something is, does have a little wrinkle that we can't conform it with. We will send it over to one of the local banks as well. So we work very well with it within the community.
All right, so again, I want to thank you. I want to thank the council vice president. Joe, I want to thank you for being here. Louie.
Mike, maybe we can set up a spot out here for literature, where it's consolidated, and when the new literature comes out, you keep us on your tickler file, you can mail it out, and I think sometimes people here, I would say, after you leave the meeting, you forget what happened, so if you can put the literature out there.
They all got pamphlets, they could leave business cards, we could put everything on the table, so.
I think it was very informative, too. It's like a lot of people have misconceptions that they can't. But, I mean, with all these programs that they have to offer, you just have to try. So here are all the people that you can go to, and I really appreciate you coming and showing our town what you have to offer.
You think you're buying a house for $100,000, $150,000, well, I need $30,000, I need $20,000 plus closing costs. I'm never going to be able to afford that, so I'm never going to be able to own a home, and it's really not true, and that's why we really wanted to put this meeting together to let people understand that, you don't have to make a lot of money. You can make under $80,000. You can make $50,000 combined income. So just because you're not hitting that top of the scale doesn't mean you should never own a home. So it was a great meeting. Again, Councilman Catroci, Councilman Riccio is here this evening. I want to thank you guys for showing up, along with the mayor and Councilwoman Rodriguez, and thank everybody for being here this evening. Some realtors in the audience and banks. So again, thank you, and thank you for coming into Bristol.